This is African American History is American History. Welcome. I'm your host, Harlan Kearsley. This program's goal is to foster understanding, promote discussion, and expand knowledge through stories of historical events, bios of unsung heroes, as well as timely and relevant news stories which, hopefully, will paint a vivid picture of the effects of segregation, discrimination, and bigotry on the lives of both blacks and whites. Comparisons will be made between the many racially fractured periods of American history and what's going on right now. Before Central Park was created, the landscape along what is now the park's perimeter from West 82nd Street to West 89th Street was the site of Seneca Village. Founded in 1825 by free blacks, this was a community of predominantly African Americans, the first such community in the city. Many of the residents owned property. By 1855, the village consisted of approximately 225 residents, made up of roughly 2/3 African Americans, 1/3 Irish immigrants, and a small number of individuals of German descent. One of a very few African American neighborhoods at the time, Seneca Village allowed residents to live away from the more built-up sections of lower Manhattan and escape the unhealthy conditions and staunch racial discrimination they faced there. Seneca Village existed until 1857, when through eminent domain, the villagers and other settlers in the area were forced to leave and their houses were torn down for the construction of Central Park. The entirety of the village was destroyed. The rise and fall of Seneca Village is a historical example of racialized community displacement, as well as current urban renewal initiatives. After slavery in New York State was outlawed in 1827, more and more African Americans began moving to Seneca Village. In the 1830s, people from York Hill were forced to move so that a basin for the Croton Distribution Reservoir could be built. By 1855, there were 52 houses in Seneca Village. Nevertheless, many of the residents were still poor, since they worked in service industries such as construction, day labor, or food service. Only 3 residents could be considered middle class, as measured by occupation, of which 2 were grocers, and the other was an innkeeper. Many black women worked as domestic servants. By the 1840s, members of the city's white upper class were publicly calling for the construction of a new large park in Manhattan. This is African American History is American History. In 1853, the Central Park Commissioners started conducting property assessments on more than 34,000 lots in and near Central Park. The Central Park Commissioners had completed their assessments by July of 1855, and the New York State Supreme Court confirmed this work the following February. Clearing occurred as soon as the Central Park Commission's report was released. The city began enforcing little-known regulations and forcing Seneca Village residents to pay rent. Members of the community fought to retain their land, For 2 years, residents protested and filed lawsuits to halt the sale of their land. However, in mid-1856, Mayor Fernando Wood prevailed, and residents of Seneca Village were given final notices. In 1857, the city government acquired all private property within Seneca Village through eminent domain. And on October 1st, city officials in New York reported that the last holdouts living on land that was to become Central Park had been removed. A newspaper account at the time suggested that Seneca Village would, quote, not be forgotten, as many a brilliant and stirring fight was had during the campaign, but the supremacy of the law was upheld by the policemen's bludgeons. End quote. There are few records of where residents went after their eviction, as the community was entirely destroyed. This is African American History is American History. In February 2001, former Parks Commissioner Henry Stern, State Senator David Patterson, Borough President C. Virginia Fields, and New York Historical Society Executive Director Betsy Gottbaum unveiled a plaque commemorating the site where Seneca Village once stood. The plaque is located near the modern-day Mariners Playground near 85th Street and Central Park West. In 2019, the outdoor exhibit Discover Seneca Village opened with temporary historical markers at points across the Seneca Village landscape of Central Park. The exhibit was originally scheduled to run until October 2020, but its run was extended and continues to this day. This has been African American History is American History, the episode you've been listening to. Before Central Park, there was Seneca Village, written and directed by Harlem Kearsley. I'm Harlan Kearsley. Thank you for listening. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the show. It's free. And once you hit that subscribe button and bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new episodes are posted. Thanks again, and please stay safe. African American History is American History. Copyright H.C. Kearsley, 2023.